Narito ang updated, new and improved complete lineup ng Magnolia Hotshots para sa Pba 50th Commissioner's Cup.
Point guards:
Gab Gomez, rookie, 5'11", 175 pounds, 25 years old, 0.6 points, 0.2 rebounds, 1 assist, 50% 3-point shooter, 33% 3-point shooter, 5 games played in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. JerAve Lastimosa, rising star, 5'11", 165 pounds, 27 years old, 13.1 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 1.3 steals, 34% 3-point shooter, 75% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Mark Baroka, veteran star, 5'10", 170 pounds, 39 years old, 10.4 points, 3.9 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 0.6 steals, 26% 3-point shooter, 85% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. L.A. Tenorio, playing head coach, 5'9", 152 pounds, 41 years old, 3.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 40% 3-point shooter, 100% free throw shooter, 2 games played in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages.
shooting guards:
Paulo Taha, 6 feet, 180 pounds, 35 years old, 1 point, 0.5 rebounds, 0.5 blocks, 100% free throw shooter, 6 minutes per game, 2 games played in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Peter Alfaro, sophomore, 5'11", 186 pounds, 27 years old, 3.8 points, 0.9 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 0.2 steals, 33% 3-point shooter, 80% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Paul Lee, veteran star, 6 feet, 200 pounds, 37 years old, 5.1 points, 2.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 0.7 steals, 29% 3-point shooter, 83% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages.
small forwards:
Rafael Verano, 6'3", 200 pounds, 28 years old, 3.3 points, 1.3 rebounds, 0.3 assists, 0.2 steals, 57% 3-point shooter, 9 games played in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Rome De La Rosa, 6'3", 185 pounds, 35 years old, 8.2 points, 2.8 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.5 steals, 31% 3-point shooter, 79% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Javi Gomez Deliano, rising star, 6'3", 193 pounds, 27 years old, 9.2 points, 3.8 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 0.4 steals, 0.2 blocks, 31% 3-point shooter, 71% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Louis Sanggalang, trade target this Commissioner's Cup, 6'4", 198 pounds, 27 years old, 17.3 points, 7.9 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 0.5 steals, 1 block, 26% 3-point shooter, 75% free throw shooter in his Pba 49th Philippine Cup averages.
power forwards:
Chris Kuhn, rookie, 6'5", 209 pounds, 25 years old, 5.6 points, 3.8 rebounds, 0.8 assists, 0.5 steals, 31% 3-point shooter, 28% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Russell Escoto, 6'6", 200 pounds, 33 years old, 4.9 points, 1.7 rebounds, 0.3 assists, 0.1 steal, 40% 3-point shooter, 50% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Xavier Lucero, star player, 6'6", 205 pounds, 26 years old, 17.1 points, 10.1 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.1 steals, 2 blocks, 28% 3-point shooter, 68% free throw shooter ni Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Kemar Carino, trade target this Commissioner's Cup, 6'9", 203 pounds, 28 years old, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 0.3 assists, 1.2 blocks, 36% 3-point shooter, 100% free throw shooter ni last Pba 49 Commissioner's Cup averages.
Centers.
Yukian Andrada, rookie, 6'6", 210 pounds, 24 years old, 12.5 points, 7 rebounds, 0.5 assists, 33% 3-point shooter, 80% free throw shooter, 2 games played in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. James Laput, 6'10", 245 pounds, 29 years old, 4.6 points, 2.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.5 steals, 0.1 block, 45 field goal percentage, 73% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Ian Sangalang on the trading block, 6'7", 212 pounds, 34 years old, 11.3 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 0.5 steals, 0.4 blocks, 51 field goal percentage, 69% free throw shooter in his Pba 50th Philippine Cup averages. Terrell Brown Suarez, official import, 6'10", 235 pounds, 27 years old, 9.5 points, 6.9 rebounds, 0.6 assists, 1.7 blocks, 41% 3-point shooter, 95% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 Poland PLK season averages. Panoorin natin ang mga best game highlights ni Terrell Suarez sa kanyang basketball career, kung magiging fit nga ba siya sa sistema ng Magnolia Hotshots ngayong Commissioner's Cup. Ito ang updated new and improved complete lineup ng Magnolia Hotshots para sa Pba 50th Commissioner's Cup. Sa tingin niyo mga kababos, makukuha kaya ng Magnolia ang 2 players na tinatarget nila ngayong Commissioner's Cup? I-comment niyo na po yan sa baba.